All right, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Alright, I am Claire Kelling. I am currently attending Virginia Polytech and State University. I'm majoring in statistics with minors in actuarial science, political science, and women's studies. And I'm possibly going to add on another economics major, but we'll see. And yeah, and I'm your sister in case you didn't remember that little bit.
I try not to forget. So just to specify, you're not a music major.
No, I am actually not a music major or a minor, but I am involved in numerous ensembles here.
When did you first start getting involved with musical ensembles?
Way back in elementary school, there was a group called Marl Melody Makers, and we all got together before school, I believe, and the main reason I joined it was because I already had identified music as a value in my life, and also because you were actually already involved in it. So it was a way to spend time with family as well as develop something that wasn't just learning like academically.
Right, so would you say like at least on some levels it kind of defined your relationship with us back then?
Exactly. I mean, it definitely was a big way of that we spent time together.
Got you. So it was probably more of a plaything for us back then because we like played recorders and like messed with bongo drums. We weren't really serious about anything. But would you say now music is more of a tool, or do you use it for expression? How do you use music now?
I mean, I think the way our education system is formed, it's mainly based off of like a lot off of like learning is very intense, and so I think that having a music outlet is definitely a place where you can less use it as a tool and more express yourself creatively. I mean, I definitely think it's an outlet, so it can be used as a tool, but it's definitely more for expression.
Right.
Personally.
Right. And do you think like you can use music to express some things that like a poem or a painting wouldn't do? Are there some things that like music can express that nothing else can?
I do. I think music has a certain interaction with your audience that it's very live and engaged. That a poem can certainly have a message, but it can be static, and definitely music is very dynamic. It's very engaging, and you can definitely have a very personal relationship with an audience at any given time.
So would you say that, like, you called music dynamic, would you say that, like, having a way of defining yourself that's dynamic, that can change as much as you do, is comforting? Is it, is that one of the reasons you're drawn to music?
It's very comforting because you never know, like, I mean, especially being a teenage girl, freshman year of college, every day, every hour, every minute could have a different emotion attached to it. So having something that can like switch that quickly is definitely a comfort, and knowing that music can always change to how you're feeling is definitely a very comforting feeling, I would say.
Absolutely. And do you have that comfort in college? Like, are you performing in college?
I am. I'm performing both with extracurricular groups and with a accredited university choir, and both are very good outlets of emotion and creativity and all sorts of things.
So you would be able to define yourself now, even, years later after Marl Melody Makers, as a performer?
I would. I mean, there are a lot of things about performing that I really identify with, especially that message with your audience. I believe that you're not really truly singing unless you are making a message with an audience. If you're singing words and don't know the meaning behind them, then it makes singing a real challenge.
So would you say that, like, as that taking on that challenge as a performer, when you get on stage, like, if you were to define performer, it's more than just someone standing on a stage. Do you think they have like a duty to do?
I think they have a duty to, if they're going to truly perform, I believe they have to convey their message accurately and emotionally. I think they should give a little bit of themselves. it shouldn't be just about um, the notes being accurate or the rhythm. I think it should also be a message that's personal.
Yeah.
A singer or an ensemble, for that matter.
No kidding. But when you're performing and you give that definition of music, that you say like music isn't just a stage and it's not just accuracy, it's a message. Would you say that having that in your life has done something for you as a person? Like, what is music and having that definition done for you?
I think it's definitely helped me through different challenges in my life. For example, when you have a piece that you can identify with, every single chance that you have to perform that song is one of the biggest comforts and reliefs in the world. If you are able to identify with a piece of music and perform it the way that you feel, then you can definitely it can have a big impact on you as well as your audience. I mean, audiences, especially in international competitions and things, audiences can have such a huge reaction from when they can truly identify with a piece of music.
No kidding. I mean, we would know that after the World Choir Games, right?
We would.
So imagine, what it would mean, not necessarily for the world and your audience, but like, imagine if music didn't exist, which seems like more and more of a reality these days as like arts programs get in trouble. So music doesn't exist. How does that change you?
I mean, it's such a scary thought, really, to even think that that's something that the world is considering, especially the educational system of the United States, where we're largely a nation of expression of our emotions, of our feelings, and all that, the freedoms that come with that. And thinking that like young people won't have that outlet is just a scary thought. And I know personally, if I didn't have that outlet, I mean, there would be a lot of built up emotion. There would just be because I know personally, I'm not very artistic with painting or with drawing things, but with singing, it definitely does help get out a lot of, or not get out, but it helps me grasp a lot of the creativity and message that I would like to tell people. And if I didn't have that, then I probably wouldn't have a way to relay a message that I would want to have the world hear.
So would you say without that message and without music, you'd be incomplete?
Yeah.
I know that feeling. But so I would guess, knowing how much music has done for you and, how sad the world would be without it, you plan to include music in your life after college, probably? Not professionally, but maybe in other ways?
I'm not a music major, so I don't intend on teaching music through a school or something, but I definitely plan on keeping musical ensembles in my life, whether it's being in a handbell choir or singing in a chamber choir or a church choir, something like that. Any of those options I would be completely up for, but definitely I plan on keeping music as some sort of outlet for as long as I can.
Yeah, and I hope you do. But so would you say from then the first day you got introduced to music and then for the foreseeable future, would you be bold enough maybe to say that music defines you? Or do you define your music? Would you say that you define yourself with music, or that music defines you? Or that you define your music is what I meant.
I would say a little bit of both. I think a person can really define their music through a message, but it depends. If you're composing the music, I think you can definitely define your music, but if you're a performer, just by being a performer, I think you definitely are defined by the music that you are singing, and because the message defines you and what you are wanting to say to the world.
All right. I think that's plenty, but I'm glad you have music in your life. And I have loved sharing it with you.
I have too. So many great experiences together.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No problem.